This community update was brought to you by U Multicultural. In recent years, Canada has witnessed a troubling rise in hate-related crimes, particularly affecting the Muslim community. Amira El-Gawabi, the Special Representative on Combating Islamophobia in Canada, highlighted that the past months have resulted in loss of income, threats to current or future employment, harassment, violence, vandalism, and exclusion for many Muslims. To tackle these issues, the Manitoba government is establishing a working group aimed at addressing Islamophobia within the province's K-12 education system. Hate has no place in our province, said Premier Wab Kinew, emphasizing the need for unity against hatred and the government's commitment to supporting all Manitobans. The working group comprises members from various sectors, including education, community advocacy, and faith-based organizations. Key organizations include the National Council of Canadian Muslims, the Manitoba Teacher Society, the Indigenous Excellence Directorate, Healthy Muslim Families, Education and Early Childhood Learning, the Belial Community and Family Center, the Learning and Outcomes Branch of Education and Early Childhood Learning, the Canadian Muslim Women's Institute, the Manitoba Islamic Association, and the University of Manitoba Muslim Student Association. This diverse group will focus on raising awareness about Islamophobia and developing training and resources for educators and students. Eve Sitoriadu of the Canadian Muslim Women's Institute has worked with Muslim women facing Islamophobia in both workplaces and in the broader Winnipeg community. She underscores the significance of focusing on the education system.
Right, I'm a teacher myself, a high school teacher. I have the experiences engaging with students who oftentimes the challenges they face might not necessarily be violent actions of Islamophobia, right? But it might be microaggressions. Or just to give you an example, I remember a few years ago, I was teaching here in Winnipeg and had students approaching me of Muslim background for a prayer room because they just wanted to find a room to pray and they felt that administration wasn't welcoming enough to approach them for that conversation. So it's just navigating these barriers, really, and making sure that everyone has access to what they need, especially our students.
The working group plans to utilize the Embracing Diversity in Manitoba Education K-12 Toolkit, developed by the Manitoba Islamic Association to guide their efforts. They aim to equip schools with practical skills to address misinformation and hate directed towards the Muslim community. Sitoriadu elaborated on the importance of intersectionality in these discussions.
And it's intersectional forms of violence in my perspective, right? Because I myself, I'm a white woman, right? But I'm an immigrant. So when I first came, I experienced xenophobia, but I never experienced racism. However, I'm a Muslim, so I have dealt with Islamophobia, especially when I was wearing the headscarf. But other Muslim women of color wearing the hijab are experiencing significantly more violence than I am, or than I would ever be. You know what I mean? So you have to take into perspective all different layers of identity and how that interplays and intersects.
She emphasized the need to recognize how different layers of identity influences experiences of discrimination. Over the coming year, the working group will address issues of hate and inclusivity in schools, seeking to create a comprehensive strategy that empowers educators and students to tackle violence, racism, and oppression through community-driven solutions. By pooling insights and resources, they hope to foster an environment where all students feel safe and supported in their educational journeys. You're listening to U Radio, where diverse voices connect. Stay tuned for more stories and insights that matter. With U Multicultural and the Local Journalism Initiative, I'm Ryan Funk.